everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel and also welcome to my very first YouTube video. In this video, I want to talk about the Nclex-Rn and what I did to pass the Nclex, what helped me pass the Nclex, the resources I used to pass the Nclex. So I did pass my Nclex back in October of 2017 with 75 questions, and it was my very first time. Just to give you a little bit of a background about me, I graduated with my Bachelor of Science in Nursing in August of 2017. After graduation, I did take some time off. I took 2 weeks off for vacation and went to Europe. So I can say that after graduation, I took about a total of about 4 weeks off before I really started studying for the test. So I started studying by using Kaplan. I use Kaplan mainly because I got Kaplan for free from a raffle that my cohort did back in nursing school. So I got a complete Kaplan course for free, and I was very grateful for that, but also came to the realization that Kaplan wasn't really working for me. When I started doing the Kaplan questions, I was very disappointed. And mainly because I didn't think those questions were very difficult, and I didn't think the rationales were very helpful and useful. The rationales that Kaplan gives you, they give you a sentence, 2 sentences if you're lucky, sometimes a 3-sentence explanation. It doesn't really help you understand why you got that question right or why you got that question wrong. So I decided to stick with Kaplan and wait until I finished my online instructor review course, or whatever you call that. And that was for 4 days, and that review course is basically a course where you have an instructor through the computer. They go over their Kaplan tree, they go over questions, they go over what the Nclex is all about. I'm really grateful that Kaplan does focus on teaching you about the test so you're well informed of what to expect. However, after the online instructor review, I was still not feeling Kaplan. I didn't really want to use Kaplan, which was really hard for me to accept because I have had so many people tell me that they passed with Kaplan, that Kaplan helped them so much. And since it wasn't working for me, I felt so lost. I said, okay, well, if Kaplan doesn't work for me, now what am I gonna do to study? What resource am I gonna use? I decided to purchase a UWorld subscription after reading some reviews, and UWorld is pretty much a large question bank of about 1,900 questions. You don't get an instructor with UWorld, you don't get question trainers. All you get is a question bank and 2 assessments that you can take, and these 2 assessments you can pretty much take at any point in time. You don't have to take them at a certain time. They do expire, however, so as long as you take them before they expire, you're fine. Those assessments tell you how ready you are for the Nclex by giving you a likelihood of passing. So you can either get a very unlikely chance that you'll pass, a likely chance of passing, and a very likely chance of passing. So I would wake up every morning. I would start studying at 2 p.m. So I would have my breakfast, have my coffee, I would work out a little bit, and I was ready to go by 2 p.m. I would start by creating a practice test using the UWorld question bank. I would do about 50 to 75 questions every day, and I would time myself. I really wanted to try to time myself and make sure that I have enough time for the whole 265 questions. So I would go off by the time. So after 75 questions, I would see, okay, how much did that take me? If it was like an hour or an hour and 30 minutes, that can kind of give me an idea of how I would do with 265 questions and how I needed to manage my time. After I answered those 75 questions, I would get my score back and I would remediate every single question. I remediated every single question. I would read the rationale, and then I would take notes on everything I didn't understand, and then things that I thought I needed to do flashcards for, I would do flashcards. With UWorld, those questions are very hard. They're incredibly hard. My test average was a 59% at the end of, before I took my test. I started getting scores of 40 to 49%, and then towards the end, my scores were a little bit higher, like in the 60s and 70s. So if you do UWorld, just keep in mind that those questions are so hard. Your scores are not going to be very pretty, and that's okay. UWorld is there. Take advantage of it because it's hard and because the rationales are excellent. So regardless of the score you get, read every question, whether you got it wrong or right, and write down everything that you think will benefit you for your exam. The other resources I did use the Saunders book. I would pretty much use that book as a resource. So for example, if UWorld still didn't clarify a question very well for me, I would go back to the Saunders book, find the disease or the drug that the question was about, read up on it, and then make a flashcard. I didn't memorize anything except lab values and the infection control precautions like Airborne, Droplet, contact precautions. So I would recommend that you do memorize your lab values and that you do memorize the infection control precautions. And I did use a mnemonic that I'm going to put down in the description box for those. But you do need that. You do need to memorize what infections go for each precaution and what PPE you're going to use for each precaution. I didn't memorize any drugs. I studied the drugs by class and I just briefly reviewed them. I did not want to overwhelm myself with a bunch of flashcards. So I pretty much just reviewed the drugs and reviewed everything else that I thought would be important, but I didn't really sit down and memorize anything or read anything word for word. I also tried another book, which is the Pharmacology, Nursing Pharmacology Made Incredibly Easy. I rented that from Amazon for like 15-20 bucks. I didn't use it either. It was very extensive, very thorough. It overwhelmed me, so I tossed that. I didn't even use that. I tried using it for a couple days, and then after that I was very overwhelmed. And then I also tried the Kaplan Nclex review book. I couldn't use that either. It was just a lot. There were a lot of words, no pictures. I'm a very visual learner, so that didn't work for me either. If you are not interested in spending a lot of money, or you're tight on money, you don't want to spend a lot of money in review material, I would highly suggest that you at least invest in UWorld. UWorld has tough questions. UWorld will prepare you for Nclex. UWorld has explanations that are very thorough and that will really help you understand the question. So Nclex was very similar to UWorld. Now, I didn't get any questions word for word from UWorld on my Nclex. I didn't get any similar content or any similar question or wording, but the content was similar. So for instance, I remember UWorld taught me a lot about pneumothorax, right? So in the Nclex, I saw a lot about pneumothorax and I was confident answering those questions. So I don't want you to think that you're going to memorize questions off UWorld and then they'll be on the Nclex, because that doesn't work. It's not going to be like that, but it will prepare you and being able to dissect the questions on Nclex, and everything that you learn from the explanations that UWorld gives you, you can use for the actual Nclex. And also the format is the same, very similar, you know, everything, the background on UWorld is exactly the same as Nclex, so you feel like you are just taking another UWorld practice test. I really think that UWorld prepared me. I think that UWorld trained my brain to think like the Nclex and to answer questions like the National Council wants me to answer them. I think that UWorld gave me a lot of select all that apply, which was very important for my test. Half of my test was select all that apply, so UWorld definitely prepared me for those. So if I can give you any piece of advice, is to believe in yourself. You are smart. You can do this. You have passed nursing school. You've faced many adversities. You have gone through a lot of rigorous courses, a lot of testing. You can do this. You need to believe in yourself. You need to tell yourself every day when you wake up in the morning, I'm going to pass this test. And it doesn't matter whether you pass in 75 questions, in 100 questions, in 200 questions, or in 265 questions. Another piece of advice that I would give you is to stop trying to pass this test in 75 questions. It's going to drive you crazy. Focus on passing. It doesn't matter how many questions you get. Nobody cares how many questions you pass your NCLEX with. They just want to make sure that you pass. Your employer is not going to ask you how many questions it took you to pass the NCLEX. All you need to do is pass. Focus on making sure that you learn from whatever source it is that you are using so that you can pass this exam. Also, if you believe in God, if you know, whatever you believe in, pray. The power of prayer is real. I would pray every night. I would envision myself passing that test. Envision yourself there. Envision yourself passing, and you're going to pass. And study. Obviously, you can't just pray and not study. It doesn't work like that. So if you do believe in God, if you do believe in a higher power, pray. Pray to God. You know, I believe in Jesus Christ. I would pray every night, Lord, give me the wisdom, give me the patience, give me the serenity that I need to go in that testing room the day of my test and kick its butt. I was very close to God during my test. I still am. I am religious. I am a Christian. So it helped me a lot. If you're in touch with your spirituality, where you have to find something that really helps you keep your head in the game. So anyway, take a break. Be nice to yourself. Believe in yourself. I think that's all for this video. So if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below. I will leave the mnemonics for the infection control precautions down below. If you need anything, even if it's just a little bit of encouragement, just let me know. I'm here to help you. I know that the NCLEX seems really scary, but if you put your head in the game, if you focus, if you believe in yourself, you can do this. You can put this past you and move on and get a great career and do what you love. And anyway, so that's this video. If you have any questions, you can just leave them in the comment section below, and I'd be happy to help. Bye, guys.